Banks may have given in on debit card fees, but the dangers to consumers have not gone away. Fees are just the tip of the iceberg. Here to discuss the secrets your debit card issuer isn't telling you, ULZHEIMER, the president for consumer education at smartcredit.com. Okay, I love everything debit card. You say debit cards are more costly than credit cards. How so?
They are definitely more costly, Jerry, and here's how. Do you remember a couple of years ago when the law said that everybody in the U.S. was going to be opted out of overdraft protection?
Yes,
and
I do remember that.
Remember that? Would you believe that some 30% of the people who opted back in last year?
They didn't mean to,
Why did they do that? Well, they were aggressively marketed to and were shared the benefit of overdraft protection. So guess what? Those are the folks who are using debit cards that are now incurring those over-debit fees. Now, compare that to a rewards credit card with no annual fee that you pay off in full every month that's also a cashback card. If you balance the cost of carrying those two pieces of plastic, it's actually cheaper to carry the credit card.
And you have to be careful and manage it wisely. But at the end of the day, it's good on for a lot of reasons. Okay, people think that debit cards improve your credit score. True or false?
Yeah, that's absolutely, without a doubt, 100% false. And here's why. A debit card is a checking product. It's a plastic check. And checking-related products and services do not show up on your credit reports, and the only thing that can help your credit score are things that show up on your credit reports. And so, trust me, the prepaid card issuers, kind of the rats of the industry, those are the guys who actually like this myth being out there, because this is one of the ways that they market their products, is that it can somehow help you credit by actually using these things.
There is no free checking.
Free check? I don't even know. I'm not familiar with that term. Can you tell me what that means, please?
Yeah.
Free checking, it really has been a victim of Dodd-Frank, to be quite honest with you. The cap on the debit card swipe fees was really the straw that broke the camel's back. Free checking has been an endangered species for some time now. You can still find it at some credit unions if you jump through some hoops with minimum deposit requirements, direct payment and such. But really, it's really hard to find. It's unfortunately going to be going away, almost like the dodo bird.
All right. Use credit cards instead. What do you mean by that?
Well, first off, you have more protections under the Fair Credit Billing Act than you have under the Electronic Funds Transfer Act. So using credit cards, you actually have more protections for fraud-related issues. Second off, if someone steals your debit card or steals your credit card, who are you going to call first? You're going to call your debit card issuer first. Why? Because that's your money. You're not going to call the credit card issuer first because that's someone else's money. Right?
Exactly. Credit cards, aren't they easier to get?
As funny as this is to say this right now, they are actually becoming easier to get. Credit cards were more difficult to get from 2007 up until middle of last year because obviously the credit crunch and the economy and such. Debit cards were much easier, so they were a reasonable alternative as a piece of plastic. Now, not so much. The credit card issuers are actually digging deeper into the risk pool, which means that it's going to be easier to get those, or at least on par with getting a debit card. And at the end of the day, if you balance all these things out and you try to think rationally about this instead of being one of these people who's got a cultish relationship with their debit card, you'll realize at the end of the day, the credit card's is actually the better piece of plastic to choose.
John, I think these are great insights, and I really appreciate your bringing them to our viewers. Interesting stuff, contrary to what a lot of people think. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Well, we'll be